Is we are actually coming back for another question, that is the question that requires us to compute the percentage increase in profit if sales volume increased by what? By 10%. So members, the only way to deal with this one, we have to actually take some proper procedures, and we see how we can actually get there. Yeah, so we want to actually see how we can actually go about this. Remember, what we have to do is to know the profit we got previously, because this is the profit we got at the level of 3,000 tons. So now here we want to they're actually requiring us to compute the percentage increase in profit if sales volume increased by 10% or increased by 10%. So now what we do, step number one, if sales increase by 10%, it means that the quantity will increase also by the same percentage. So as the volume increases, or as sales increases, then the volume also increases. Now we need to, at this point, determine the quantity increase at the new level. We want to determine the quantity increase at the new level. So quantity, we had 3,000 tons, these ones. Therefore, the new quantity will be determined as below. So we shall actually, because quantity will increase, we want to increase quantity by 10%. And because when sales increase by 10%, then quantity is also increased. So now here, we have to determine the percentage increase. So we shall say 10% into 3,000 tons, then plus 3,000. So now, when you get 10% of 3,000, you get 300. Then because the 10%, when you say like 10 over 100 times 3,000, so this is 300 shillings. So it is this 300 shillings of which you are going to add to 3,000 here. So now when you add 3,000 when you add 300 to 3,000, we get the new quantity at an increase, a new quantity of 3,300. So this is the new quantity so far. Then some of us are not good mathematicians, so we can actually first compute the 300, or first get the 10% of 3,000. After getting the 10% of 3,000 here, like what I did, 10% times 3,000, then you get your 300. The original quantity, we know that originally we had a quantity of 3,000 tons. Then we add the 10%, this 10%, this figure, we add that one. So we shall get the original quantity, which is 3,000. Then we add the 10%, which is 300. Then we get the new quantity as 3,300. So now this is the new quantity at the new quantity when the sales volume increased by 10%. Now, after getting the current level or the new quantity at an increased volume of 10%, then we need to actually determine the profit at the current level of 3,000 tons. So given that we have 3,300 tons, so what will be the profit there? Now here we know that the profit is equal to total revenue minus total costs. So that's we all know that. And our total revenue, when you talk of total revenue, we know that revenue is equal to price times quantity. So therefore, our total revenue for the case of 3,300 units. For the here the total revenue shall get 100,000, which was the selling price per unit, times the new quantity 3,300. So we shall get 100,000 times 3,300. Then our new total revenue will be 330 million. Then after determining the total revenue, we want to actually know the total cost. Here, our total cost, we know that total costs are equivalent to fixed costs plus variable costs. So fixed costs, we know that the fixed costs at the previous level of 3,000 was 20,000. But now since we have a new level of 3,300, we shall get the 20,000, which was a fixed cost, times 3,300. Then we get a new figure of total costs at the current level of 3,300 as 66 million. Then after determining the fixed costs, because now here we have the total revenues, now here we want to determine the total costs. But we know that total costs, to get total costs, you must be having fixed costs and add them to variable costs. So now here there is 66 million. Well, fine, this is a figure for total for fixed costs. Then for the variable costs here, we shall get, we know that variable costs were 60,000 here. This is the figure for variable costs. So now from that we actually get 60,000 times 3,300, the new quantity. So we get total variable costs as 198 million. So when you get 60,000 times 3,300, so this is the figure. That's how we got this figure. Good. So now, therefore, the profit at the new level of activity, we shall actually say because we know that total, the profit is equal to total revenue minus total what? Total cost. We have our total revenue as 330 million. So this 330 million, this is the one here. This is our total revenue. Then our total costs. We know that total costs is a combination of fixed costs plus variable, or a combination of fixed costs and variable costs. So now when you get fixed costs here and variable costs here, then we sum them up. So a combination of the two will give you 264 million. So of which 264 million shall be deducted from 330 million, the total revenue. So when you get 330 million minus the 264 million, this figure, then we shall actually remain with a profit of 66 million. So now this is now a profit at the what? At the new level of activity, 3,300. So now after okay, let us actually have a short break and we come back and finish up with this one.